Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and it's good to be back in the UK. Not that I didn't have a lot of fun in Belarus, but it's nice to be back on my main setup and be able to bounce around the screen with having a green screen here. Definitely something that as I spend more and more time with my awesome extended family out there, that I'll have to look into as well. But let me know in the comments, did you even really notice that I didn't have a green screen for the last 4 weeks? Does it matter to you, or do you prefer it set up like this, where I guess you can still be able to check the chat out and I'm taking up less of the screen real estate? Anyway, thank you very much for your comments in advance, but let's focus on the matter at hand. That I am playing one of the most popular tank destroyers in the game, bar none. The only vehicle that's more popular than this is effectively the tank that it knocks off, aka the Scorpion G. This is the Su-130 PM, and it's very similar to the Scorpion G in the fact that it is pretty much like the Swiss Army knife of World of Tanks. It's a tank destroyer with a turret that's fast, that has good camo, that has a really big gun, that also has great alpha damage at 520, but more importantly has fabulous high explosive anti-tank rounds with 320mm of penetration, which is more than enough than you could possibly even need at tier 9 or even at tier 10. But to have it at tier 8 just feels outrageous. It means that when I play this tank, I feel that I can kind of do it all. I can be a medium, I can be a tank destroyer. The only thing that I really can't do, I guess, is kind of be a heavy tank. I have no armor on this vehicle, and I have not the largest amount of hit points to go with it. So everything apart from durability. Do you hear that? That's not an error on your headphones, by the way. It's not an error with this recording. Some of the bushes have cockroaches. Do cockroaches make noises like that, possibly? What am I thinking about? Crickets, you know, crickets, those kind of things. As we managed to put our first round into the side of the turret of the E100. But it looks like I make a bit of a misplay here, as I'm actually going to get lit up as I went forwards. That quite surprised me, and I wonder how I managed to get lit up there. Maybe that bush was a lot thinner than I thought it would be, and I'm just praying, hoping, no artillery, no big E100 shell. We're going to fire a second one into them. Did we manage to hit the shell? I guess we're going to tell when the E100 reappears, as I'm going to have to activate my binoculars to be able to find where that big fat German heavy tank is. But back to what doesn't look like I penned him, considering that he's still got most of his hit points left, and I've already done 400 to him, but that one did for 500. That was a good hit. So back to this tank. It can pretty much do everything apart from have durability. And in World of Tanks, if you know how to use camo rating and you like to use mobility on your vehicles, you control the engagement, having armor doesn't even really matter all that much, or at least it doesn't seem to really matter with regards to this being the second most popular tank destroyer in the game. And when you think that it is just a clone of a Scorpion, obviously this playstyle's really popular. Now I want to give a shout out to Bad RNG for a video that I featured on this channel, on this tank, in November of last year. The video was titled, He's Practically an Entire Team, or He's Like an Entire Team. And Bad RNG had an absolute fabulous game in this vehicle where he just carried his socks off, carried his team to victory. And it was that video, or should I say, it was Bad RNG in that replay that inspired me to have a second look at the Su-130 PM. And it's a vehicle that I realized in that video that if you manage to make use of the field mods on the tank, that eventually you can get rid of binoculars on this vehicle and use coated optics instead, which allows you to be oh so much more flexible in a position. And remember, if you can spot your opponents while also damaging them, you're going to be getting double the experience that you would have if somebody else was spotting for you, as you're only going to get half the experience if you're not spotting the target. And it's the same with regards to, I guess, your credit income as well, I presume. I'm not sure. Is damage when it comes to credit income, or is it also based on whether you were spotting the target? If you know for sure, let me know in the comments down below as well. Is this just a whole big feedback video? QB's back in the UK and now he's just going to be asking his audience everything. It's very weird being in Belarus when you're not able to speak Russian. I don't feel as if I can manage to communicate with everyone, but one thing I am very good at communicating is my love of intuition, right? As we tried to chain shells there to a high explosive round to be able to kill the FV-3805 in a single shot, but the Centurion behind me, or is it the Carnarvon, sorry, the Carnarvon Action 10 behind me, just managed to sneak a shell in, which made my high explosive change irrelevant. You're going to see me using intuition a lot in this replay, because when you've got 3 different awesome flavors of ammunition, why wouldn't you want to change your mind about what flavor you wanted after you've already kind of had it in your hand. It's like being able to have an ice cream and just give it back to the guy and go, no, I didn't want mint choc chip. I've actually changed my mind and I want some kind of fudge surprise. Never thought I'd say that in a YouTube video, either today or ever really on this channel. As 2022 is entering the 10th year that I have been producing content, both on Twitch and also on YouTube. Although a variety of channels, eventually settling on the name QuickyBaby TV instead of QuickyBaby WOT, because I didn't think that World of Tanks would be lasting that long, and yet here I am 10 years later, right? Strategically decided to change the user name away from WOT to TV specifically for that. Bizarre. Look, let me focus back on, I digress, I want to focus back on the tank at hand, and that is the SU-130PM. And the shout out to Bad RNG in the video I featured in November, because he made me realize that you could be able to drop the binoculars and be able to use the coated optics on this tank. And that just makes you so much more flexible, because you can keep moving while spotting, go forwards into the bush, and you don't have to play this kind of static gameplay that you see me. And it will allow you to snap a lot more shots in, and also to be able to be a little bit more decisive about relocating against light tanks and medium tanks. And that combined with the turret, the gun, the mobility, the camo rating, you have everything that you need on this tank. So it doesn't matter if you're playing against tier 10 tanks. Slowly work your way through the bush lines, use your camo and your mobility, extend your view range, and be the flanking player. Usually, tier 8 tank destroyers will be ones that want to just chill at the back and kind of relax, not ones that are wanting to push forwards as if they're some kind of pseudo-light medium tank to try and get forwards against its opponents and spot them out and start to absolutely club them. Ooh, greedy HE reload. Did we hit it? We're going to have to find out when we respot the Gorilla. But I don't even remember what kind of health the Gorilla was on. Is that an HE pen? I guess we're going to have to find out in the post-game stats, or you could tell me right now by simply reloading the video, although you can't tell me in real time, unless you can see the future. Get in a time machine, teleport into my room, and tell me. It's probably not quite... No, actually, if you can teleport into my room, I do not give you permission to do so. Okay, I'd just like to clarify that. But great shots there against the Gorilla 15, and they are down to, was it 69 hit points? I guess we can take a look by, no, we can't quite see what it was exactly, roughly. The Gorilla's not very well, that's all you need to know. And the C-100, who's being pushed back from the town, trying to provide supporting fire from the west, we're going to fire at the E-100, and they're not going to spot us. Why? Because the tree actually provides camo. I specifically stopped here because I would be behind the tree. In this situation, however, I don't really feel it matters too much if I get spotted, and so I'm just going to wait until he's turned his turret to the side, club him, and now you're going to see that we actually do get spotted there, because that tree was no longer blocking our line of fire. So we're up to 4,600 damage here in the first half of this game, and 3 kills to boot. This is why this vehicle is just so lovely. You feel like you've got the flexibility to do everything. If I was in the Ferdinand, I'd have to go into the town and play like that heavy Bruiser TD. If I was in, say, like an autoloader, I'd probably have to try and set up a line of fire and hope that my opponents just drive into it. In this tank, you really can be a little bit of a predator. And I'm also very much looking forward to when I finally have some time, which doesn't feel like I have a lot of time. With all of the relentless World of Tanks events that go on absolutely everywhere, it's hard to feel as if you can manage to catch up. I want to have some time to grind the K91 PT, because I think with the field mods on the K91 PT that it might actually turn into something quite voracious. Alright, so I've got 452 hit points. I should easily be able to tank the Leopard's paltry 420 damage. I guess not. I guess I kind of found out that when this thing does get spotted, that it doesn't really have the durability. And I get high rolled by the Leopard prototype with his 420 rolls for 452, and I thought at the time it might have been a high explosive round. And this is where overconfidence is not a good thing. Now this is actually starting to look real scary as the corner campers who are clinging on for dear life to try and now hold back in advance. I've actually got a pretty good opportunity here in this scenario. And I thought I'd just completely thrown the game by being so nonchalant in my approach on my quest to try and maybe get like 6,000 damage against tier 10 tanks. That would have been great, right? Pushed it a little bit too far, but hopefully the Centurion 7-1 is not going to suck against the Progetto and the Leopard. and beautiful. Actually using the 20 pounder here, which actually has way more DPM. Back in the day, it had about 25% more DPM, but then Wargaming actually eventually buffed the 105mm on this tank a little bit, so I would definitely not recommend using the 20 pounder now unless you're some kind of DPM lord, but I think it kind of completely defeats the point of playing the Centurion 7-1 if you're going to do that. But it seems to be working out for him well here. As he manages to get ammo-racked, however, the 60 TP shoots the Leopard, and he's pushing them back with that voracious 20-pound DPM and all the hit points to go along with it. If it wasn't ammo-racked, then Mini Mano here in the Centurion 7-1 is definitely clawing us back into the game and making up for my slack and my lazy play against the Leopard. And I love that he's grinding out these two corner campers. And I guess they were forced to do so because they didn't defend the eastern part of this map. And I'm just hoping that maybe this Progetto's going to bounce. Looks like the Progetto missed the shell. Will the Centurion be able to survive? It looks like he maybe will. Come on, justice for Mini Mano. You can do it. Yes, the 60 TP shuts him down. And there you have it. The SU-130 PM. The Swiss Army knife of World of Tanks. So luckily for me, it does look like we managed to hit that gorilla. We actually ended up doing 1,207 damage to them with just 2 pens. So that HE shell hit big. And we did 5,964 damage in this game. Nearly double what any of even our tier 10 tanks were able to achieve. And that was 1,780 base experience. And as this happened during the Christmas event, yeah, a cool 250,000 credits profit. Is anyone missing those kind of credit incomes? Can we have Christmas back again, Wargaming? And so really, is it any surprise as to why vehicles like the Scorpion G and the SU-130 PM are just being played so darn much? With 1/3 games played in the last 30 days just on the European server in those two tanks combined. People love convenient tanks that can just sit at the back, chill. You could probably be watching a program on your other monitor. Not that I would recommend exactly playing the game like that. And casually waiting and clicking your opponents. And I guess a lot of people still love to play World of Tanks passively like that and just to make a few credits. And let me know if you're one of those kind of players in the comments down below. And just before I end this video, I want to give a very important announcement for all of you who are watching the video today. And that is that for the first time in what feels like forever, Wargaming are discounting consumables and equipment by 50%. Now, I'm sorry I was unable to tell you about this earlier. I was traveling back from Belarus, which does take a little bit of a while, and so my YouTube videos have not been prolific this week, but today is the final day of the sales, so you can actually go into the store and pre-buy your equipment and consumables at half price now for all of your future needs. And so if you've got any credits left over, I would thoroughly recommend investing, and it's available at least on the EU and the NA server. And so if you're watching this video as it's released on Thursday, it'll be too late by tomorrow. At least log in for a few minutes today and you can end up saving millions and millions and millions of credits. Especially if you're someone who likes to use a few premium consumables. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And make sure you answer all of my questions. I think there are about 3 or 4 of them in this YouTube video in the comments down below. And it's really good to be back in the UK. I'm going to be ramping up more YouTube videos, more streams, and more content, including trying to grind half of the remaining mission marathon today and tomorrow. So yeah, have a lovely Thursday and weekend, whatever you get up to, and hopefully I'll see you around on YouTube or Twitch over the next few days. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.